Buddha.
One very high scoring game, Chennai Super Kings, Kolkata Knight Riders. Chennai Super Kings, of course, holding on to a victory there, and a low scoring game, that one to begin with, where Sunrisers Hyderabad finally got off the mark in the 2021 Indian Premier League. There's plenty to discuss, especially on the back of that second game and KKR's tactics, even though they came close visibly. But before I get there with Boria Mujumdar, Nisha Thakkar, and Pragyan Oja, who will join us in a bit, here's a quick look at why you should download the Fan Fight app.
It's match day. Play fantasy cricket now. Get up to 2.5 crores daily and lots more. 20 times more. Win big on Fan Fight. This game involves an element of financial risk and may be addictive. Please play responsibly and at your own risk.
Well, at the end of this second doubleheader in the 2021 Indian Premier League, some sort of parity has been restored in the world, right? Chennai Super Kings on top of the IPL points table with 6 points from 4 matches and an incredibly good net run rate there. So that's on the back of this victory, that hat trick of wins in the 2021 IPL. But Boria, plenty of fervor around this game. CSK, Kolkata Knight Riders, high scoring game. It's always good to see the team chasing a 200 plus total, try and come close. But like we were discussing before the show, KKR had already lost that backbone of their batting with Deepak Chahar's fantastic spell, another fantastic spell, and also what you mentioned about Lungi and Giri. Boria, take us through KKR's tactics, bizarre.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're 200% correct in what you just said, because if you look at that innings, I mean, yes, Andre Russell, sensational. Dinesh Karthik, one of his best innings in recent times, and Pat Cummins was phenomenal. Having said that, at no point did Chennai give control. No point. And when MS Dhoni is the opponent captain, he will not let you get these games. He will ensure that one good over, because with Prasidh Krishna, Varun Chakravarti, Kamlesh Nagarkoti, all Pat Cummins had to do was either take doubles or hit a four or hit a six, because it's 9-10 jack. So Kamlesh can bat, but the other two can't. So Mahendra Singh Dhoni will not let such games go out of your grasp. And that is why the game was actually done in the top five. After that, KKR's comeback was a bit of a miracle. Andre Russell played a blinder. Dinesh Karthik played one. Pat Cummins played one, some drop catches, Moeen Ali dropping one, etc. So, there's a lot of hoo-ha going on in social media, what a game, etc., etc. But the fact of the matter remains, KKR was always playing catch-up. It was never catch-up. It was always going to be Chennai Super Kings, and that's what has happened. And that's what asks you to, ask these questions. Rahul Tripathi, inconsistent. Shubman Gill, woefully out of form. Owen Morgan, completely out of form. Sunil Narayan, if he's not opening the batting, what is he doing in that middle order ahead of Andre Russell? These are important questions that you need to ask about this. Again, like last season, you have a batting order which is getting complicated for KKR. They've got to sort it out. And the bowling today, the less said, the better about KKR. This is Wankhede. Last game, Varun Chakravarti first over 2 wickets, not a second over to him, Owen Morgan. Today, Wankhede, where you have a Deepak Chahar moving the ball, picking four, you start with a Varun Chakravarti and you get a Sunil Narayan for the third over. So you go with spin for half of your power play. That is KKR's tactics so far. Baffling.
No, I was actually about to come to that bowling also. Pat Cummins' spell, by the way, 4 overs, 58 runs. How detrimental that has been for KKR now. Also, the fact that you yourself rightly pointed out, Boria, starting with spinners, starting with Varun Chakravarti at the Wankhede, where we've discussed so much about pacers holding sway. But also, these tactics are repeatedly happening, right? These bizarre tactics, these inexplicable tactics, like you rightly mentioned. Sunil Narayan, yes, we know that he's done well as an opener whenever in the few opportunities that he's got, but does he have a place in that middle order ahead of Dinesh Karthik and Andre Russell, Boria? And also the fact that Owen Morgan, we discussed his captaincy before the show. Does that reflect an overall thinking? Does it give you the sense that the KKR management maybe is just too stringent with its tactics? No matter who the captain is, the mistakes are the same. Whether it's Dinesh Karthik or Owen Morgan, Boria.
I mean, why would you finish off with an Andre Russell? Because last time De Villiers took him to the cleaners. Today, I thought Chennai, again, plundered him, right? Faf Du Plessis and even MS Dhoni took him for runs. MS Dhoni coming, giving a bit of a glimpse that 1-6 was a good shot, but the other two was lucky. And then Ravindra Jadeja getting dropped by Nitish Rana last ball. So Andre Russell conceding a lot. the fact remains, I mean, this is quite baffling. If you see that team, if you see that KKR side, yes, they came close. Yes, people will say, oh, what a run fest. Yes, people will say 200 up, chasing 220. They've come very, very close. They made it competitive. Hand on heart, any point in time you thought KKR will clinch it? No. No. The only thing is that the net run rate did not plummet. And that's a big plus for KKR. That 1 out of 4, they've lost 3, but the net run rate could have been, if they lost by 100 runs, they were 50 for 5 or something like that, 40 for 5, 50 for 5. It could have plummeted. That did not happen thanks to the heroics of Russell, Karthik, and Cummins. But at no point did Mahendra Singh Dhoni relinquish control. And one has to say that this was KKR's playing catch up. MS was totally in control right from ball 1 of this game. Ruturaj Gaikwad, proof of the MS Dhoni strategy bearing fruit. Faf Du Plessis, tremendous. MS coming at number 4. So clearly, he was pushing himself. He had Karan, he had Jadeja, he had all of them. He came up to push himself to try and see if he can to take the clock back. Then he had Engidi today, and what a choice. I said it on our pre-show. Engidi will get a Rahul Tripathi. So it was never going to be a problem for Chennai Super Kings. Kolkata has a lot to work on.
Exactly, Onesha. You're looking a little low tonight. It's okay. That's the way the game goes, and also the fact that it's like Boria said, and this is a lot of KKR's own doing from their tactical blunders and some inexplicable, bizarre decisions. And I'm sure you'd like to tap Boria's brains as to the way CSK have looked. They've looked vintage Chennai Super Kings and vintage MS Dhoni, the captain, and of course that cameo, 17 of 8, promoting himself to number 4. We'd all sort of wanted, you would have wanted him to get more runs there, Anisha. Take it over.
Definitely. But one thing which is just coming to my mind, which I want to ask Boria, that what do you think, had Russell or Karthik stood still till the end, KKR would have chased it down?
If only I was born to, 25 years earlier, I would have played for India. So it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. When you are chasing 220 and, 50 for 5, it's one ball. You have an asking rate of 14. You have an asking rate of 14 every over. And I was on commentary, and believe me, I mean, people thought I was an idiot talking that, oh, this is too good to be true. If it happened, it would be a miracle, a genuine miracle. And miracles very rarely happen. I have to tell you this. Yes, it was a bad judgment call. I mean, maybe he wouldn't have been bowled like that. He could have been caught out in the previous over. Now think of the strokes. He could have been caught by Moeen Ali. Chance.
Yes.
He was flashing every ball. One was a bisection between the keeper and third man. Chance. And then obviously the ball that he got bowled. Great innings, but chancy. And that inevitably will happen when you are chasing 14 or 15. I thought Karthik was superb today.
Yes.
Superb. One of his best innings of recent times from Dinesh Karthik. But as I said, once you lose 5, Nitish, Rahul, Shubman, Morgan, Nareen, you don't win on Nisha. Look at this. When you had a Varun and Prasidh, Cummins knew that he could not take a single. Either he had to take a double or he had to hit a 4. So he knew he was constrained. And Chennai knew that all they needed to do was Shardul Thakur's over. A couple of my people were telling me, oh, 20 run ho jayega. I said, bhaiya, kaise hoga? Nahi, Cummins hai. I said, do to ball hai. He has to bowl 2 decent balls. Yeah. Because you have to hit 3 sixes and 1 4. Nahi hota hai. So you might look very good, 68 of whatever balls, 55 of 20 balls. But in the real terms, will you win the match? The answer is no. So KKR has to go back to the drawing board. 1 out of 4 is with a reason. And the graph is plummeting. And that's a worrisome sign.
Also, KKR fast bowlers didn't bowl slower deliveries on this wicket. You think that it's a sin to bowl fast on this wicket where the balls comes onto bat nicely?
Pat Cummins and Prasidh Krishna to MS. Now tell me, will you give MS a length ball? You either and by the way, MS, with the moment you bowled him short, he skied it up, and he had just come in 18 of 7 balls or 8 balls or whatever it is. So the moment MS comes in, you go short, you bounce him, you put it here on his chin. You will get him out. This is not the MS of 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14. Prasidh Krishna bowls him a slower, goes for a 4 over the keeper's head, then bowls him a length ball dispatched for 6. Come on, man. Where is your head? I mean, as I'm saying, I mean, it might sound a little harsh, but KKR has been disappointing, and the graph is going down. Where is the consistency from Rahul Tripathi? Tell me. Where is the consistency from Captain Morgan? Tell me. Where is the consistency from Shubman Gill? Tell me. So if your top order is not giving you runs, how much will the bottom order do? Today, the bottom order was sensational, but you still lost.
But Boria, this is also sorry, Anisha. Owen Morgan has just spoken at the post-match presentation ceremony, and Boria rightly pointed out the tactical blunders in the team, also Captain Morgan's own form and some of his decisions on and off the field. Owen Morgan has said, Boria, that he said he did not think KKR would come this close, and Cummins gave them every chance of victory. But is it now important also for KKR to put this defeat in perspective and not get too carried away by the margin of defeat, especially after they had lost half their side, with so much to do? Is it important for them to get their perspective, and who is going to give them that perspective? What sense do you get of that from the KKR management, Boria?
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. I mean, if you just so for a second think about it this way, you haven't seen the game, and all I give you is the scorecard, and that is why I'm telling you that blanket statistics do not tell you a story. Statistics at times is an ass. Because if you look at that scorecard, 220 over, you know what, 220 chased down 200. So KKR was very, very close. No, as Morgan rightly said, the game was gone. It was a freakish bottom order performance today by Russell, Karthik, Cummins, which will not happen. It will happen 1 in 50 times. So I was watching and I was telling my people that, look, if they win this game, it will be one of the most miraculous IPL games of all time. But that doesn't happen. The perspective is very simple. The perspective is, are you being rigid? Are you going to be bowling Andre Russell round the wicket all the time, 18 and 20? You'll get smashed. You have it against Mumbai, it worked because 9, 10, 11. And I said it that day also, remember? The next day, AB de Villiers took him to the cleaners. Today, Chennai Super Kings has taken him to the cleaners. Your premier bowler, Pat Cummins, goes for 50 plus. Now, why did you not play Lockie Ferguson on a Wankhede? Why would you go to a Varun Chakravarti overs 1 and 3? Why would you go to a Sunil Narayan when the first 6 overs, Wankhede, bounce, movement, you will not take advantage with a Pat Cummins in your... the moment I saw Pat Cummins get the new ball, trust me, I thought they'll bowl him 3. Great move. And then 1 over later, they withdraw him. What for? Why did you bowl Pat Cummins just 1 over? Give him 3. Give him the go. Tell him, go get me 2 wickets. Get me a Ruturaj. Get me a Faf. Get me 2 wickets. And that moment that 100-run opening partnership happens, are you in the game against the Chennai? They have a middle order that is firing. They will get to 215. Go check my tweet. The moment it was 5, 6 overs or 10 overs down, I tweeted this will go to 215. Go check. They got to 220. And you can understand that, you're seeing basic mistakes here. So unless, I think there's a question, I don't know who is this. Somebody is asking this, that are they Omlan Pradhan? Are they relying on too much data? Very possible. That are you guys relying on too much data and as a result losing perspective a little bit? Even last year this had happened with Brendan McCullum. Is it about too many statistics that is dictating KKR's strategy?
No, that's an interesting point, and I like how you said it, Boria, that is probably what is stifling Brendan McCullum also. But there's someone at the other end who does not quite look at a lot of data, and he likes to keep things simple and not complicate affairs, as MS Dhoni. First his backing of Ruturaj Gaikwad. Okay, we all thought last year, we were wondering when would someone like Ruturaj Gaikwad play. He did well. Again, didn't get out of the greatest of starts in this IPL campaign, still backed and look at what he did. Also, Boria, I also want to get that sense of Faf Du Plessis. Had he retained strike for the final ball, Ravindra Jadeja hit that 6. I mean, Faf Du Plessis could have backed himself to do that as well. Great on him to not, to just let another power hitter take over and do it for Chennai. Speaks about it.
I actually thought he, when he played that penultimate ball, he thought it would go for a boundary. Dinesh Karthik actually pulled off a stunning save because it was an edge. It was going through fine leg. So I thought Faf committed himself to the run. Because if you see a previous ball, he hadn't taken a single. He had hit 2 6s. And had that been 2, had it not been stopped by Dinesh, he would have gotten a double or a 4. So he would have retained strike and gone for the 100. So that I thought was Dinesh Karthik saving that ball that denied Faf Du Plessis. But the last ball, when Ravindra Jadeja hit that, Nitish Rana did not have to move. It came on his hand, he dropped it. How many catches have KKR dropped this season? Tell me. How many catches? Where is the and why is this that you will drop so many catches? Why? Something's going wrong. Again, if at the end of the season you come and say, "Oh, we were close." Now I have this theory. You can castigate me. You know what a gallant loser means? Means you lose more often than you win.
That's well put. That's well put, Boria. That sense of I get where that sense is coming from. And yes, I'm sure, Boria, I know that you don't support any IPL team in particular, but I'm sure a lot of KKR fans would be really disappointed, and if I may say so, would be fuming at this performance, at the lack of consistency from the team. And there is Deep Dasgupta joining us now. Before I head to Anisha, there's also, of course, there was a fine performance from Sunrisers Hyderabad. Deep, before you came in, we were talking, Boria, and we were discussing, the fact that, yes, this match did look like a close game, CSK winning a high-scoring game of about 18 runs, but it was some really, really strange decision-making from KKR. Like Boria mentioned, at the start of the show, Varun Chakravarti opening the bowling at the Wankhede. Sunil Narayan, does he really fit into the middle order ahead of Andre Russell if he's not opening the innings? Very, very bizarre. And the fielding and the bowling, and especially Pat Cummins' expensive spell.
I mean, let me just give Deep a little bit of a head up. It was a miraculous middle order and a miraculous late middle order. Frankly, Chennai had sealed it for me. Deep, do you agree? Despite all the brouhaha on social media.
No, I mean, I do agree. I mean, after 6 overs, it seemed like, it's going to be a quick game. But this is what I'm saying. This is the strength of KKR. KKR has that ability, right? And this pitch was really good. Now, the problem with KKR as of now is in one game, the bowling has fired. In a couple of games, the top order has fired. And now the middle order, low middle order has fired. They need to get it together and make all these things to fire together. Now, that's the issue. I mean, as you mentioned and Boria mentioned, some of the stuff you're thinking, yes. I mean, now if you look at Morgan and the way he's led his bowlers in this tournament, you see majority of the overs from the spinners, he tries to finish it by the 11th, 12th over. Even the last time around, this time around, I think they had bowled 6 overs of spin by the first 10, right? They want Pat Cummins to bowl in the middle. But again, if you look at the lengths that they bowled, they only bowled 2 Yorkers. That's all they bowled, bowling first. And that too, someone like an Andre Russell tried to bowl. Pat Cummins didn't try and bowl in Yorker. You didn't have Prasidh Krishna trying to bowl in Yorker. So if you look at the lengths that they bowled, I thought even for Chennai for that matter, they started bowling Yorkers in the last 2 overs. I mean, Sam Curran, the over that he went for plenty, he was bowling length. Same with Shardul Thakur. I mean, they started bowling Yorkers only in the last 2-3 overs that they bowled. And that I was thinking, I can understand you've tried to bowl Yorkers and you've gone wrong and it's converted into a full toss or a length ball. But I don't see they've even tried to bowl Yorkers. But yeah, I mean, but superb hitting. I mean, that was unbelievable hitting actually.
Yes. Also, very well put there by Deep, and Boria before that had some strong views, and rightly so, around the KKR performance tonight, Pragyan. But again, what we were assessing was that, numbers do not always tell you the full story. Yes, it was an 18-run defeat in a high-scoring game. It looked like 2 years later, you'll say that, KKR came back from nowhere to get close. But the reality is that the game was really out of KKR's grasp in that power play, and that was the difference. Deepak Chahar breaking the back of the CSK batting, Lungi and Kiri's impact, and at the other hand, Owen Morgan deciding to go 2 overs of Varun Chakravarti, and he also bowling Sunil Narayan in the power play at the Wankhede, where we know that even if they're relying on data does show that the Pacers have held sway at the Wankhede.
When you're playing in IPL, one of the best leagues in the world, you cannot be predictable. I think KKR is becoming a little predictable, and teams are trying to make out what these guys are doing. Normally, everywhere they've played, They've used their spinners earlier, and then they have tried to sort out few things. So they cannot be predictable. And for me, the game was done when you compare CSK 115 first wicket partnership without losing any wicket. They were 115. And if you compare it with KKR, they were 31 for 5. That's where the game was over. Yes, it was a brilliant innings by Russell, Dinesh Karthik, and Cummins. But by then, the game was almost tilted towards CSK. Because after losing half of your side, whatever you do, if they would have won, it would have been brilliant. I think this would have been one of those games where after losing 5-6 wickets, they made a brilliant comeback. But against a team like CSK, where someone like MS Dhoni planning things, he knew one wicket and things would change, and that's what happened. He got Russell out, then Dinesh Karthik out, then they never had that cushion. Had they got that brilliant start the way CSK had got, they would have won it easily.
Right. And before I go to Boria, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Pragyan and I said the exact same thing.
Yes.
Exactly the same thing.
But let me add, if I may add to this. Now, someone like, look at some of the wickets there, okay? You had Shubman Gill, he slashed one. The ball was there to the hit straight, right? Straight to Lungi Ngidi, right? 2 yards on the left, 2 yards on the right. He's not reaching there. Then you had someone like Sunil Narayan. What a catch. But again, hit half tracker, hit it straight to the cover field. Jadeja, if I'm not wrong, was there. So yeah, listen, a little more contribution from the top order, and this would have been could have been a different story.
But I also, yes, Pragyan, sorry, go on.
And as I said, I think pre-match we were discussing about Shubman Gill. Chances, everybody will talk about it now. So he has to deliver. He's a brilliant batsman, but getting out so many times, people who are analyzing him and studying his game will start questioning. So he needs to perform. He's a better batsman. He's better than this, what we are seeing, what has been portrayed. So he needs to deliver.
Right. No, I know Anisha has some questions on the SRH Punjab game as well. I'm sure there'll be some question marks on the way Punjab batted as well there. But before I go, Pragyan and Deep, from both of you, I'd like to get a sense of the way CSK are bouncing back. Their most disappointing season in IPL history. Pragyan, if I can begin with you, and then look at the way KKR are disintegrating again. After starting off well last year, they disintegrated in the UAE, and again now they don't seem to be learning their lessons, and that is also the difference between a really good champion side and a side that is struggling to get its ideas in place with so much confusion in the camp. Again, if I can start with you.
It's about backing your players and being stable at times. CSK, they always look at Rituraj Gaikwad. What did he do? We were questioning his him being in the team, but you have to back your players, and you cannot be predictable. Look at all the good captains in T20, especially in T20. You cannot be predictable. Once you become predictable, the opponent will, they'll cash in with all that they get. So it's important. You need to innovate and need to know that your main bowlers have to do the main job, or your main batsmen, they have to do the main job, not your people. Yes, at times people can chip in, like maybe Russell can get you a 5 for in 10 games or 12 games, but not regularly. Who can get you a Pat Cummins? Or we were discussing about Ferguson. If Ferguson had played, it would have been a different story. Who knows? So these are the things which they need to analyze. And CSK, why they're doing better this year is they have that stability. They have got their team sorted. They wanted few batsmen who can deliver. I think bowling wise, they were good. Last year also, they were doing fair enough. Bowling is somehow sorted for them. Look at the changes that they did. Bravo was out of the team. Ngidi came in. That's because of the pace and the bounce, they wanted to, get these guys out. KKR, the new Russell is there, the new Dinesh Karthik is there, for whom bouncer is a question. So they were trying to analyze. So they are not being predictable. But in the other hand, KKR was a little bit predictable.
Right. The same thing for MS Dhoni, right? Captain Cool, he showed us why he's one of the greatest ever as a captain.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's got a very set pattern. I mean, you don't see CSK changing their team much. That's one. So you were expecting this, that he will give a few more opportunities to Rituraj Gaikwad, and credit to them, because you also have someone like Robin Uthappa sitting outside. We know what he can do in IPL. His past record speaks for itself. So I mean, credit to them. But with KKR and Morgan, he needs to find a different way. I mean, he set it up again, the KKR side, to a great extent on the lines of what his philosophy is with the English side. It might not work because he does not have the same kind of resources. So he would have to, I guess, rethink his strategy. He needs to maybe go to plan B. Because the other important thing mentioned about Rituraj Gaikwad, what was his first 3 scoring shots? Or rather, first 4 scoring shots. 3 out of the 4 scoring shots were cover drive. And anyone who's seen Rituraj Gaikwad, a lot of us here in this show, we've seen him in domestic cricket or last year. He is extremely good through covers and extra cover, right? That's his area to go to. Look at his first 3-4 shots. Look at where they bowled to him. And now my issue is, you've got so much of support stuff in there. I mean, one of the things that at least they would have told them is, if you're bowling to Rituraj Gaikwad, just make sure you don't give him driving length. Don't give him driving length. And you see 3 out of the 4, first 3 out of the 4 shots that he hit were cover drives, right? There was one pull. The first was a cover drive, second was a pull, and then the third and fourth was again cover drives, right? So those are minor things. Somebody's not scoring runs and you feed him where he wants you to, you find a different player. I think that was one of the things. Then MS Dhoni comes out. His second ball was a free hit. Right. So these are small things, but that helps the batsman or the opposition to kind of settle down and feel good about themselves. These are small things which I think KKR, if they look into, they'll do much better, because they still have the same side. If you look at the side, this is almost the same side they played last season. At least the last 5-6 games. So there isn't much too many changes in that side. So they need to get it together now.
Right.
Well, though we are talking about
MS Dhoni comes at number 4.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that was a good move if you think about it.
I told you, if you remember, Deepda, I had said he's not looking to come at number 4 or maybe number 3. His point is, he sees that number of overs that remain. According to that, he plans. So for him, coming at number 4, number 7, number 8 is irrelevant.
Yeah, 2 more things. For example, there was only 1 left of Sunil Narayan, right? Varun Chakravarti had by then, right? It was only the fast bowlers coming, right? Yeah. He had the license to throw his bat. He wanted to just go out there and free his arms and go after the bowling. He always knew that he had a Jadeja, a Sam Curran, everyone to come. I mean, I think if you think about a lot of things, it's not just one thing. A lot of things, I think that was a good move, because he hasn't, let's be very fair, he hasn't played at this level of competitive cricket since last IPL. So there was a great time to just go out there and just throw his bat and feel comfortable out there in the middle.
Yeah, that exactly is my point. He is not worried about his batting position. He is worried about which situation he needs to go in. So that's what he will do, and we've seen him do that lot of times.
Yeah, but having said that, KKR fed him. I mean, what the point is, KKR was actually sort of giving him when MS has come, he hasn't had any batting. Tell Pat Cummins to bowl it here on his face. Give him a couple, no? Make him smell leather. Why are you bowling, giving a free hit second ball? Then Prasidh Krishna bowls a slower one. Then bowls a length ball, goes for 6. Come on, yaar. It's MS Dhoni, for God's sake. Make him earn the runs. But that's what it is. I mean, with KKR, if you really dissect that performance, you will be able to find so many little things in there that you feel, come on, yeah, you get these things right. If you want to become a champion side, you can't make these mistakes. Andre Russell coming from round the wicket, trying that same trajectory, overs number 16, 18, 20, two of those. Arey, you worked once, you've been smashed by De Villiers, you're bowling the same one to Faf Du Plessis and to everybody else, either throw third man or cover, you're gone. And there's no change whatsoever. You've got to be somewhat more proactive.
Yeah, that's what, you can't be predictable. It boils down to be, they were being predictable because a guy like Faf, MS Dhoni, or anyone of that stature, once they know what the bowler is going to do, then I think you are already in back foot. That's exactly what has happened with KKR, and that is something they need to change.
So the other important thing was the fielding, right? I mean, six of the last ball, right? That should have been a dot ball, right? There was a boundary by Shubman Gill that should have been, a single. So you straight away 9 runs there, and there were other incidents on the field where they could have protected a few more runs.
Yeah, very true.
I said catches, and in fact, before the two of you joined, we were actually talking about this, that drop catch, fielding misses, and basics. And who are the people? Nitish Rana, not a rookie, been around. Shubman Gill, played for India, can't make basic mistakes. So KKR needs to somehow, little things, you've got to get it right.
But Boria, the other important point that you make is that there is no one who's a rookie in that side. They've been playing at this level for a while. You can't say anyone, for that matter, is kind of youngish. I mean, Tripathi been around for 4-5 years playing IPL. Nitish has been there for a while. Shubman's been there.
Let me ask both of you this. If you see Mumbai Indians and if you see Chennai Super Kings, take Shardul in Chennai Super Kings and see his growth over the last few years. Take Deepak Chahar and see his growth. Actually, Deepak is a better example. Take a Jasprit Bumrah and see his growth in a Mumbai Indians. Okay? And take Deepak in CSK. Have you seen Shivam Mavi, Kamlesh Nagarkoti grow in their years as KKR? Get one game drop, I play here, you play there. Have you seen a proper grooming cycle in KKR like you have seen with these other two teams?
I agree. I mean, Nagarkoti and Mavi, I mean, they've been around for last 4-5 years. They've been a potentially very good bowler since they played under 19 India, which is, I guess, 4 years ago. And they haven't really improved from where they were. In fact, I would say they were almost same or better when they were 19-year-olds. Right?
Yeah, we can put it in this way. Like, they were well taken care of. Like their injury management and all, it was well taken care of, and the facilities that was provided to them, they used it well. But the game time they are missing. That is where you got a Jasprit Bumrah. That is where you got a Akshar Patel. That is where you got a Deepak Chahar. Deepak came into the limelight for the Indian team because of CSK, because of the new ball that he got. So that is something is very important. I'm not saying KKR is not doing anything. All of us are saying basically, but it is the game time. It is the game time that is important, and that's where you make champions.
Exactly the point. I mean, if you go back to the last season, take a look at the first couple of games, how Shivam Mavi performed. We were all saying Shivam Mavi. 1 or 2 bad games dropped, gone. Now he's not part of the team. Confidence levels screwed up. So there's something going on there which doesn't seem right to me. Yes, I have to put this on record what Pragyan said. Sending them to London, taking care of them, etc. The off the field was brilliant. But on the field, the way the players have been treated, are you being fair to them as well? I don't think KKR has been able to.
Yeah, I would love to know the number of domestic games that Mavi and Nagarkoti have played in last 3 years.
Correct.
I would like to know that.
Correct.
Right? I can understand when you're 24, 25, 26, you've put in those 4-5 years of domestic cricket and you've slogged it there. You get into a groove. Again, you know it better than anyone else.
Yeah.
You earn your stripes there and then you come, right? So, I mean, that is one thing, as Pragyan and Boria, both of you mentioned about game time. And that's where I think both these young fast bowlers, they have all the potential, all the skill set that you need to be a really successful fast bowler. But have they played enough games in the last 3-4 years? Yes, you can argue they were injured, and credit to KKR and Venki Mysore and his whole team of the field that they really help Andre Russell this year to get fitter and
Yeah.
healthier. But end of the day, like I said, you're young. When you're 18, 19, you've got to play as many games as possible. Just get used to, getting under the pump, getting under those situations, tough situations when you have to bowl or take your team out. I guess that's something they really need to look at.
I think
Right.
the biggest example is Prasidh Krishna in KKR. Look at the domestic season that he had, and then he got picked for Indian team, and then he's doing really well. That really does a world of good to you.
Good
Mohammad
point.
Siraj, Mohammad Siraj. Last year he was finding his length. This year he's just there. He's doing his job. He knows what exactly he has to do and how to deliver. So it is the game time that makes a lot of difference to any player. Any player.
Without being harsh, is IPL success equal to satisfaction? We
No.
leave the jury out for these guys. We leave the jury out because, you know, is the Indian tricolor still the ultimate, or is IPL good enough? I mean, Prasidh Krishna is an example, Siraj is an example, Nagasaki and Mavi are also examples. There's something wrong. I mean, we all want KKR to win. We want all of these guys to come through the ranks. They have done exceedingly good work. Abhishek Nair is a good guy. That academy is a good idea. They have
Yeah.
something going right there, but there's some problem there which they need to fix. For example, I will forever say Kyle Mills as bowling coach. Venki Mysore or anyone cannot come and justify that to me. Kyle Mills is there because he's a Brendan McCullum package. And I hate these things in the IPL. I'm sorry to say. Kyle Mills doesn't follow Indian domestic cricket. Abhishek Nair does. I have seen Craig McMillan in the past being a fielding coach of the Punjab Kings. Why? Because the head coach is a Kiwi. These kind of package deals has to stop in the Indian Premier League.
Right. And from what our experts are also saying is that, there are the fact is that you look back at the last season, you look back at this season and the other mistakes that they've made across season, there seems to be so many common thread. And it's not just about the captaincy between Dinesh Karthik and Owen Morgan. Owen Morgan has also inherited a lot of those problems. On Nisha, there's also the other game that we would want to just touch on before we wrap up. Yes, this was a lot of high emotions in that game, CSK and Kolkata Knight Riders on Nisha. But before you take it to Boryan, Deep and Pragyan, also the fact that Kings 11 Punjab will also have to look back, and there's a lot of retrospection needed in that batting lineup as well.
We actually had a lot of talk about KKR. We spoke about Karthik. We spoke about Cummins, Andre. But what is more important is I'm going to bring a smile on everybody's face. That is 138 in the last 10 overs by CSK. That is some serious power hitting. Definitely. What do you say, Borya?
No. Check how much KKR got. I thought they got more than that.
Yeah, they did actually.
Last 10 overs.
You should go check KKR because 30, whatever Pragyan rightly said, 31 for 5 or something in the first
5
6
overs.
5
5
overs.
overs.
So go check between overs number 6 and 16. What did KKR get? I think they got 150. So,
They did quite a few.
so that's it. Anyway, I think we are late. So let's sum up this way. Deep and Pragyan also have to sleep. But Kane Williamson doing the job once again for the Sunrisers Hyderabad again. Once more, quick comment, Pragyan, before we close. Kane Williamson proving why he's
Kane Williamson is the cushion because of which Bestro got a 63 or 64 not out, because he was rest assured that there is someone who can finish off the game even if I get out. So I think that is the biggest cushion for anybody. If I know I'm bowling with someone like Anil Kumble or Harbhajan Singh, I know that even if I don't pick a wicket, they are the ones who can deliver. So the pressure goes down a bit. So that was the thing which I think really helped SRH.
Okay, Deep, 30 seconds. Last comment.
Listen, my last comment, start of the tournament, my 4 teams were MI, DC, RCB, and SRH. And this is the SRH that I was foreseeing before the tournament started. And I hope they continue this form, and I hope Kane Williamson and everyone is fit, because I think they still might make it to the top 4.
I still think so. Okay, on that note, it's 12 o'clock. So let's close this show. I played with 16 fantasy teams, all 16 won. So I'm pretty happy. With that, goodbye. Okay, so we will be back tomorrow. Sanju Samson, will you be consistent? Will it be Virat Kohli?
This was like a tadka on that dal. Huh? जाने के time तड़का.
Icing on
आवाज
the
आता है ना, खिचिंग चिंग 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 करके.
Yeah.
Okay, so to all my guests, to all my colleagues, members, tomorrow we will come back again on Sports Today. Before that, join me at 12 o'clock. Watch our social media handles. We'll put the broadcast on Sports Today. We celebrate the 1971 team with the launch of our book, and VVS Lakshman will be in a much better frame now that he's won. We've got Gundappa Vishwanath, VVS Lakshman, Akash Chopra, and Jhulan Goswami tomorrow on that launch, which we will be broadcasting on Sports Today a little later as well. So watch that broadcast. We celebrate 1971 on Saturday. Mr. Gavaskar, Bharat Arun, Ravi Shastri, and Mithali Raj again on that broadcast. So we will come back with plenty of action on Sports Today. For the moment, good night to everybody. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the platform. And as I said, have that little bit of a sweet, because KKR did not give you that sweet to eat tonight. For the moment, thank you and good night.